Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to NS9LIVE. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, of course, we have Jim. We have Tyler. What is up, everyone? How you guys doing tonight?
Good evening.
You know what? Shout out to Nardo. The intro. Our guy's been at work over the Christmas break.
I mean,
No
it was
breaks.
overdue. I feel like we've needed a new intro for at least a year. So,
But,
yeah,
like,
good job. Good job.
Jim,
You got it done.
Jim, I don't know about you, but I'm sitting here like waiting on how it's supposed to feel. Boom. That's what I'm waiting on.
Yeah. Well, if you've noticed the theme so far this week, each new show has its own individual intro now. So there's that.
It's a hard-working
like
man
it.
right there.
I
No
like
breaks. So, with that said, how else is your guys' evening so far?
it. It's good. I'm back home after the Christmas visit to Pittsburgh. So that was a good time. I'd been in Pittsburgh the last few days, seeing some family. Always good to go back. And yeah, I got this tassel cap for Christmas. So I'm sporting it tonight.
You look
I was
so
going to
happy.
ask if that was a Christmas gift.
This was a Christmas gift.
Love it.
Shout out my dad and my mom. Good gift.
Good job, Mr. and Mrs. Rosati.
Yep.
By the way, can I add something in? Actually, I forgot to take a picture of this because I drove past it. Totally unrelated, but on my way to, you all know my friend Geddes, his house yesterday for Christmas. I passed a Rosati pizza.
Rosati's
So-
Pizza, it's a nationwide chain based out of Chicago.
First time I saw it, and I thought I recall us talking about this way back. So there apparently is one in Jacksonville. I will not be going to it, just so you know. Just solely by the name.
You know what? I have like my go-to places in Chicago that I like. And Rosati's Pizza is not one of those. But I have had I had to try it once, right? So I have had it before. But yeah, there's if you Google Rosati's Pizza, there's a few kind of spread out all across the country.
Well, there you go.
Does it drive you nuts that there's someone else with the same last name as you just parading around marketing? Because personally, there was a car dealership close to me that had the most annoying commercial of all time that whispered my last name. And I'm telling you, when I got tackled in high school football, kids would whisper my last name in my ear like a commercial. Drove me nuts.
See, that's funny. That's funny.
No, I
would've
did
done the
not
same.
find it the
I would have whispered your name.
lightest bit funny.
I need to find that commercial now.
No, it doesn't bother me that they're. I mean, I would I've never been to Italy, but I would imagine that Rosati isn't like the most uncommon name in the world. So I mean, you gotta expect that a little bit.
Yeah, but and I'd have people like I'd tell people my last name. Oh, you're related to a car dealership? I'd be like, no, I drive a Toyota. They were a Chevy dealership.
Well, let's be honest. Like, imagine growing up in Western Pennsylvania, last name of DiNardo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, you're related to
Joe
the weatherman?
DiNardo.
You related to Joe all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe DiNardo. He was a cult hero.
Yes.
I remember in like elementary school, we painted like the Channel 4 logo out in our parking lot, like a helipad, and the DiNardo helicopter landed in our school parking lot one day, and he visited the school. Yeah, that's like a lasting memory of mine. Joe DiNardo visiting the school.
There
And
you
now
go.
you're on a podcast with one of them.
I know.
Full circle.
But and I
Circle-
kept saying,
circle of
like,
life.
he's not. Also, he spells a D-E. I'm D-I.
DI is a
Every
way better way to
day
spell it.
growing up.
I can't believe I'm complimenting DiNardo's spelling of his last name, but
Thank you.
that's
Shout out to my
actually I
ancestors.
feel like
Good
I feel like
job.
that's the correct way to spell it. Like DE is just that's not Italian.
I agree.
It's like German. Polish or something that doesn't matter.
I don't think it's either of those, but
Oh well. I tried.
anywho. Yeah, so Jim's been all around the world, and I, as you put it on Twitter here. I mean, you're Mr. Taylor Swift. I feel just showing your plane trips, all your trips, just killing the ozone layer. I don't know who's battling it more between you and Taylor Swift, but just
Well, is that video that I posted? Basically, I just posted all the places I've been to this year, and I had to take out like my connecting flights. I had to take out a couple trips to like Indianapolis and Cincinnati, and like the closer car rides I had to take out because it limited me to 48 entries.
oh, I'm so sorry to hear. As I mentioned, Mr. Taylor Swift.
Right.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, you've been traveling around. You came back from Pittsburgh, so I'm sure that was fun. I stayed here in Jacksonville. Tyler, of course, never leaves his lane. So you know where he was at on Christmas Day. But yeah, so we had a great Christmas. I assume we're back talking Pittsburgh Pirates. We got a nice little fun show for you today because there's not really a whole lot of news. We've talked about it. We've talked at length about Andrew McCutchen. Now you two haven't. So if you guys wanted to say anything, you know, I'll give it your floor right now to say so as well. But again, like Andrew McCutchen has re-signed. So, you know, I'll let Jim, you go first. He's on your wall, finally replacing Tatis Jr. So what are your thoughts?
He is on the wall. How about before we get to this, we do the ad read that we're supposed to do in the first 10 minutes of a show.
Let's do that. So BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with an action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football to NBA and college basketball, NHL and UFC, head to BetOnline today and don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. So, Jim, Kutch, go.
Nah, I think you and Neil pretty much echoed my sentiment on this. We all knew that Andrew McCutchen was coming back. It was pretty much a foregone conclusion. It's a good thing that he's back. This team isn't in a position where they can just turn away above average hitters who want to play for the team for $5 million. Like that. I mean, plain and simple, that's it, right? Like position flexibility aside, he's an above average major league hitter. He wants to play for the Pirates, which a lot of people don't. Like right now, the only way you're getting players of Andrew McCutchen's caliber is if you trade for him, because no one is just willingly coming here. But except Kutch. Like Kutch wants to play here. So if Kutch wants to play here and he wants to play here for $5 million, the Pirates are in no position to say no thank you to that. You've got to bounce on that opportunity. And it's Ben Cherington's job to construct a roster around the constraints that Andrew McCutchen gives you. Like and like I said, he's someone you can slap into that DH spot 120 times a year, probably nowhere else. But guess what? There's 26 roster spots. Use them all. So you know, the people who say that, you know, Kutch limits the ability of the Pirates because of just his position flexibility or lack thereof. I don't buy it. He's a good hitter. He's still a good hitter. He wants to play here, and he's playing here for far less than market value. You can't turn that down. You've got to say, welcome back, Kutch. The fans love it. It's a good move for the team for the lineup standpoint. Like right now, Roster Resources has him plugged in as the number 4 hitter. Like that's where we're at. The Pirates just brought in their number 4 hitter. We can then argue, yeah, this is a good move, but you got to do more. Obviously, like Andrew McCutchen can't be one of your biggest acquisitions of this offseason. The Andrew McCutchen acquisition needs to just be the thing that was supposed to happen. All right. Now it's Ben's job to go out there and build a team that allows Andrew McCutchen to have a DH role on a limited basis and produce offense. Because right now it's still not looking great.
Yeah, I guess I'll just echo whatever Jim just said, because everything you said was exactly correct. They're not finding another guy that hits at a league average level at the amount that Andrew McCutchen makes. Like the last time that they've acquired a guy who even hits league average was David Freese about a decade ago. Like guys like that don't grow on trees. You can argue like maybe the Dodgers wouldn't take the guy, maybe the Yankees wouldn't take the guy, but you're not the Dodgers or the Yankees. You take a guy that hits league average at $5 million. Find a spot to put him in the lineup. There are not enough good hitters on this baseball team where you can say Andrew McCutchen doesn't belong. We watched way too many hitters not be good enough at the major league level, where I'm not going to turn away a guy who does hit major league pitching. It's as simple as that. Like, I don't find a position, put him wherever. And we've had that conversation about the DH rule before, where we want to see it evolve more into a day off type of role. But there's not enough guys that hit well enough on this team to deserve that. The guys that maybe should get a day off, they don't hit well enough to do that. Like, I don't want to give Brian Hayes a day off in the DH role. Hell no. I don't want Nick Gonzalez getting that day off in the DH role. No. So just acquire as many major league caliber hitters as you can get, and we'll call it a day there.
Boom. Good stuff. Yeah, I'll agree. So as we're getting into like the main bit of the show here, and this is really Jim's idea, Alex Stumpf had an article out. What was it, the All-Century team of the Pittsburgh Pirates, where he listed like, a player from every position. He put like the best player, and I think there's like some good debate over that, but that's not what we're here for. That's not what we're here for. Jim, all giddy about it. He's like, I want to make the all Ben Cherington team. So that's what we're going to do tonight. And before we do get into that, I do want to say here, Jim, and this isn't like any knock. Again, wonderful gift. But I keep looking at you, and that thing is just so enormous. It looks like one of them Guardian caps, like in NFL football. You look like you're wearing a Guardian cap. It's just so.
It is really.
So
it is a
huge
really big hat. It is a very big hat.
You know what, Jim? You look good in it. I actually like I love the
Yeah.
ball on top.
I like
I
the
have a
ball
couple
on
of
top.
those.
Yeah.
And again, like it looks good, but it's also just funny because the stream's split in thirds. So like there's only so much headspace, and yours is coming pretty close to max. So
yeah. Well, especially if I tilt my head down a little bit, it's like it's taking up half the screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
But yes. So moving on to the all Ben Cherington Pittsburgh Pirates team. Now, Jim, of course, as you always do when you get into these moods, you've created some PowerPoints. We got some graphics up here, maybe some spreadsheets. I don't know. We got all kinds of stuff to really get into this. So I'm going to give you the floor. Why don't you introduce us to this segment?
Yeah, you gotta have a visual, right? That's how people engage. No, I thought it was interesting. Alex put together. We're a quarter of the way through this century, amazingly. So Alex put together the all quarter century team for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and there was, I mean, the Pirates have had a few decent teams throughout this 25 years, 3 to be exact. So along the way, there's been enough people to piece together a half decent team, right? So I thought it would be fun to say, okay, let's do the same thing, but it's only players that Ben Cherington has acquired. And so I came up with this idea, one, because I thought it would be kind of funny because they're all so bad. But also I wanted to see really just like who is the best third baseman that Ben Cherington's ever acquired. Well, you know what? We're going to find out. We're going to find out today. We're also going to find out. I've got a fun little exercise at the end where I put together the all Ben Cherington team, but it's made up of the worst people from every position. So I put that together. You all have seen the real all Ben Cherington team, but we're gonna you all haven't seen the all bad Ben Cherington team. So we're gonna guess and we're gonna play for the bad team. It's gonna be
Are
fun.
those different?
I mean,
honestly, there's some guys who could have appeared on both. Without
I just
further
want to say
ado,
we've seen it, Jim. We saw the all bad Ben Cherington team. We just don't know what it is on the graphic per se.
Yes. Without further ado, I present to you the all Ben Cherington team. All right,
Donardo, real quick, can we just like screenshot his text of I'm going to make a PowerPoint and just put that up there every time he's going to do this?
Okay,
that's a good idea for the future.
Yeah. Like anytime Jim starts talking, just put up I'm going to make a PowerPoint.
Also, I want to say it's not a PowerPoint; it's Google Slides. So it's the cheap version.
No free ads.
The free version.
By the way, I really
deck.
appreciate the standard graphic size there.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
tuning
Good sizing on both graphics.
Yes. I thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you noticed that. I put a lot of time and effort into this. All right. So without further ado, let's take a look at the all Ben Cherington team. Why don't we? I've got the line. I've got the diamond. We're gonna go through each position. So let's start with catcher. So with catcher, Yasmani Grandal comes in as the best catcher that Ben Cherington has ever acquired at 1.5 WAR. What's up, Tyler?
I think it's a bad pick.
I'm not saying it's. I'm going by WAR. Like this is
Nope.
an objective. This is an objective exercise.
Not doing it. We're not doing objective.
Exercise. It's which player acquired by Ben Cherington had the highest WAR over their Pirates tenure. And
Nope,
at catcher,
don't like it.
It's Yasmani Grandal.
Nope. Don't like it.
What
If you
don't
like
you like
it is
about
what it is.
No, because we're just making up rules as we go. Because Joey Bart's
that's-
the better choice here.
Okay, yes, you are right. I am making up the rules. And I'm not making them up as I go. I made them up beforehand.
No, as we go. It's what you're doing. And honestly, though, if I could just jump in real quick.
You can jump in.
Here would be my argument. And it's been 5 years of Ben Cherington, but Joey Bart, I think, is absolutely the right choice because he's what, 0.1 WAR less on Fangraphs?
He's 0.1 WAR less.
Yeah.
So Joey Bart was at 1.4.
No, Joey Bart's
WAR.
the better answer. All he has to do
He
is
was
catch like
the-
one inning next year.
Bart was at 1.4
hasn't.
WAR. Grandal was at 1.5. And then someone says, Jolly Roger reports, Joey Bart had a 2 WAR. Here's the deal. It's only the WAR at the position. So yeah, Joey Bart put up some WAR as a DH last season, but this is just the WAR put up as a catcher. And Yasmani Grandal wins 1.5.
I don't like the WAR argument. I'm already out.
Well, I'm sorry.
Because my argument, like, in all reality, if we're looking at the best, quote unquote, like guys that Ben Cherington has acquired, Joey Bart's a better acquisition than Yasmani Grandal, but we're literally splitting hairs here because both stink, probably.
It's WAR. It's total WAR accumulated in a Pirates jersey at the position that we're playing in. And it's
But what
Grandal.
is WAR good for?
Fact.
The slide deck is what it's good for.
Absolutely nothing.
I'll say this: Joey Bart will probably overtake Grandal here in the first couple weeks of the season. But as of now, it's Grandal.
Boom.
All right. Next up, first base. Carlos Santana comes in at 1 WAR. He's actually tied here with Connor Joe at 1 WAR. But Joe may appear later in this presentation. So I gave the edge to Santana. So Santana takes this spot with 1 WAR. Which could I
Jesus,
just
Tyler.
say this? This is pathetic. We've had 5 years of Pirates baseball, and every first baseman we've essentially had over this period has had to have been acquired, and none of them have been very good. What's up, Tyler?
Can I just cut this down? Like, since Ben Cherington has acquired literally nothing as we're seeing at this point, can we just have like certain months of a certain player? Because the Yoshi Tsutsugo 2022 second half was probably the best first base play I've seen in the last decade of my life for the Pirates.
I mean, it was pretty good. John Nogowski had like a really good week one time too.
He did.
And he got us all blocked by Marcus Stroman.
Yeah.
But like actually, Santana, the half year we got of him, it's sad that for 5 years, that's the best we've had.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was, he was solid, but ironically too,
it's
he was
4
a below
months.
average hitter. Barely, but he was.
But like that,
That's the best.
But
of the
DeMarco,
first
those
baseman.
like 2 months of Yoshi. Yoshi.
Oh
was
yeah, I mean, those 2 months of Yoshi landed him a contract the following year, which
Yeah.
then if you're going by parts of the play, Yoshi ends up on this list twice. Yoshi is this list and the next list for the following year, probably. So,
True.
so again, if you're doing that route, he goes on both. He actually might end up on the other one too.
Yoshi may
overall.
Yoshi may end up on the other list.
Even with
All
those
right.
2 months.
So next up, this is kind of this is where it starts getting sad.
This is where it starts getting sad.
Even sadder.
You
Nick
said
Gonzalez, second baseman, Nick Gonzalez with a 0.6 WAR. That is the top performing second baseman that Ben Cherington has acquired in his 5 years as Pirates GM. 0.6 WAR, Nick Gonzalez.
Yeah. Again, like this is where, and he's drafted and acquired nothing but like middle infielders. And so far what he has is the Nick Gonzalez, which by the way, I mean, Nick Gonzalez, fine year last year.
Yeah.
Well appreciated. But that's the pinnacle of second base at this point in time.
I'll say this too. Diego Castillo almost made this list here at 0.5 WAR.
that. I'm already getting irritated, but like Donato just said, all he did was acquire guys that probably would end up at second base, and they all stunk. Every one of them stunk. And the only thing we're left with is the first round pick that probably stinks, but somehow just we might think he could be a possible major leaguer. That's what we're left with.
So since Ben Cherington took over, there have been 21 different players who have started or played a game at second base. 21. Adam Frazier is kind of running away with this category when it comes to players during the Cherington era, with 3.2 WAR at second base. But again, we're only going players acquired by Cherington here. Frazier, Triolo, Cole Tucker is number 3 on this list as far as a second baseman under the Cherington era. Nick Gonzalez slides in at 4th, but he is the highest rated Ben Cherington acquisition. So
Frazier,
now, mind you,
was that year the COVID year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2020.
Sad.
Frazier was 2020 and 2021.
Or I guess, yeah, both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he sucked the COVID year. Sorry. Go ahead.
But mind you, Frazier's 3.2. It's nice, but Tuke has a 0.2. So, all things fair. Great acquisition.
Yeah. These are great so far. All right, on to third base. This was a battle. Let me tell you, the third base position was a battle, but it officially goes to Phillip Evans at 0.3 WAR. And let me say this: I'm pretty sure Phillip Evans was the first Ben Cherington acquisition, or like he was like one of his first 2 or something like that. But yeah, Phillip Evans with 0.3 WAR is the best third baseman acquired by Ben Cherington.
Nobody talk ish on my Phillip Evans, the Swiss Army knife. He could do it all. He was the Ohtani before. I mean, not really before Ohtani, but
For the record, I was like all aboard the Phillip Evans train. I mean,
hey, he had that one really good month too.
I mean,
he was raking.
Yeah.
And then who broke his jaw? Or whatever it was?
Yeah, he got hurt.
Was it Eric Gonzalez?
Yeah.
No, that was Marte.
No, that was Marte.
Yeah.
That was Polanco, wasn't it?
Was it Polanco?
I think it was
Someone
Polanco.
broke something of his body.
Yep. Yeah, he got hurt like in the field, I think.
Yeah.
A couple questions I just want to address in the chat here. O'Neal Cruz is not a Ben Cherington guy, so he will not appear on this list. Someone also asks about Cole Tucker. We just talked about Cole Tucker because he's actually still, he comes up on the total list, but again, not a Cherington guy, so you will not see Cole Tucker on any of these lists. Someone says, "Who the hell is Evans?"
That's
Yeah,
kind of
my
the
guy.
perfect answer.
Phil
Yeah, it
Evans
was
played
Polanco,
22
by the
games
way.
at third base in 2020 and
Polanco,
2021. No, yeah. So that's it. That's Ben's guy at third base there.
how many games did you just say?
22.
And that's our number one Ben Cherington acquisition, with Cabrian Hayes missing half
A
of
lot
his
of time.
lifetime at third base.
Hayes has missed a lot of time. Hayes is still running away with this position, obviously, like by a landslide. But again, not a Cherington guy, so he doesn't count.
No, and the backup is not a Cherington guy, but there's not even a backup of the backup.
All right, this is a good one too. So Jolly Roger report says, "I wonder if IKF is at short." And then Brody says, "If Alika Williams is number 1 at short, I am rage quitting." So let's get to shortstop, and it's none other than Nick Gonzalez. Shows up on this list for the second time. 0.5 WAR. Nick Gonzalez is the best shortstop acquisition Ben Cherington has made. He's actually, this is a fun fact, guys. Fun fact. He's the only shortstop that Ben Cherington has ever acquired with a positive WAR.
I wish I could say the F word so bad right now.
Falefa, he's at a 0 WAR.
This is
IKF is
pathetic.
at 0. Yep, IKF is at 0.
Guys, this is pathetic. We are 5 years in this.
Yeah. Yep. Cabrian's actually 5th in WAR. That's short.
Also, yeah, Cabrian Hayes is the 5th best shortstop on the Pirates during the Ben Cherington era. He played 3 games at shortstop somehow, which I don't remember. I don't remember that at all.
That was a fun time.
But also, let me tell you this about Nick Gonzalez. As a shortstop, he rakes as a shortstop. In 15 games as a major league shortstop, Nick Gonzalez has a 142 weighted runs created plus. He's hitting 314, slugging 569.
I want to say the F word really bad.
All right. Are we ready to move to the outfield?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Never been more excited in my life.
Yeah.
Let's move to the outfield. In left field, Ben Gamel, 1.5 WAR. Ben Gamel, 1.5 WAR. Actually a 119 weighted runs created plus out of left field for Ben Gamel. So like not terrible, really. But yeah, that's it.
You know, like, I'm not going to hate on Ben Gamel. That was useful. Like, he was a useful major leaguer.
Yes.
But him being your best left fielder you've acquired in 5 years, not good. Not good.
I will say this. This is the one position, and I think this might be the only position, but there are 2 different Ben Cherington acquisitions with a WAR over 1. Ben Gamel, and then also Jack Sawinski with 1.2 WAR in left field.
So there you have it.
There you have,
But-
there you have it.
But also like Ben Gamel was solid. Now he definitely did not deserve to like continue being a Pittsburgh Pirate, but for his time here, he was solid. There was no complaints about Ben Gamel. Very much like Connor Joe to the degree. Like, you know what? Solid player, good job. Now he played better than Connor Joe in totality, but yeah.
Yep.
But, like, if they were competitive, there would have been a lot of complaints about Ben Gamel.
Yeah. But that dude
He
played
was just like the
hard,
tallest midget at that time.
He was there. You know, he was there.
Yeah, like he didn't
Like
embarrass
he wasn't
himself.
a problem. He wasn't a problem. Looking at some other names on this list, like their problems, like JT Riddle is on this list. Ildemaro Vargas is on this list.
Wilmer
Like,
Defoe.
Anthony
yeah,
Alford.
Wilmer Defoe is one of the better ones. But like, there's some bad outfielders that have been around here. Ben Gamble was a guy. You know, he was a guy.
Markakis, Gerard Dyson.
Remember Yoshi in right field? That little experiment.
Colin Moran played right field for a little bit.
Yoshi does have 2 games in left field and negative 0.3 WAR. All right, let's move on here. How about center field is the only position that's not a pitcher where the WAR is 2 or higher. So center fielder Jack Sawinski with a 2.0 WAR in center field. That is Ben's best acquisition as far as center fielders go.
Now, back to Adam Frazier trade. We're getting close.
Yeah. Jack Sawinski actually, decent defensive metrics in center field somehow. And then basically a league average hitter over 174 games has, accumulated 2 WAR.
Oh, I missed that, Jack Sawinski.
Sure. Like, obviously, like the production was worth it, but do I count on him going forward? No. So, in my opinion, it's worthless.
Yeah, like I said, this is the highest number on this list.
Yeah, I know it is. I'm getting depressed here, Jim.
But it's
right.
Again, like to Tyler's point, when you look at the trade, if you're not getting the value when you're competing, did it really matter? It's like the whole Bednar situation.
However, Denardo, they did get Prime Juan Soto.
They did. Jim was right on that one.
Hey, center field, 30 home runs for Jack Sawinski in 174 games in center field.
Boom. Boom.
All right, right field. Right field's up next, and we talked about him a little bit earlier. This is Connor Joe with 1 WAR. Connor Joe with 1 WAR. You know how pathetic right field has been for the Pirates during the Cherington era? Not only is Connor Joe the highest Ben Cherington acquisition who has played right field, Connor Joe is the best right fielder the Pittsburgh Pirates have had in 5 years. No other right fielder has accumulated 1 WAR over the last 5 years. Not a single one. Not one.
Can I ask who the hell accumulated 1 WAR in right field?
Connor Joe. That's it.
No, 5 years ago.
Can I put out this stat here? In the last 5 years, during Cherington, like in Cherington, the Ben Cherington Pirates era, right field has put up a negative 4.9 WAR in total.
Oh my God.
Negative 4.9.
That's so bad. Yeah, there are 4 players who have played right field over Cherington's tenure that have accumulated negative 0.9 WAR or worse.
Let's play a game and guess who they are.
Well, we'll get to the bad list later.
Okay.
Yeah, let's not.
Yeah.
But Connor Joe was a good acquisition.
Yes.
He did his part. Should he be your best right field acquisition? That's where we get into the territory of you suck as a GM.
Yeah. I think we're there. Looking at this graphic, I think we are there. Like this is rough. This is rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Right field in particular is just it's bad. It's real bad. Across
just
the board.
Picking out right field?
Well, like I said, Connor Joe, not only is he's the best Cherington acquisition, he is the best right fielder the Pirates have had since 2020.
I feel like it's even before that, though.
How was
And
Polanco's 2019? I mean, Polanco would have manned
Yeah.
that corner for
Yeah,
a few years.
I mean, I guess I forget that he played right field. I think of Polanco as a left fielder. I don't know why, but just do.
Last up, as the position
tough.
players go, Andrew McCutchen, 1.3 WAR as the DH.
Who called and said, "Sign me."
Yeah. He had to call the owner and tell them that he would play for basically nothing. But he has been the best DH by far that Cherington has acquired.
That show.
Yep. All right. Now, if there was one area where Cherington hasn't like completely sucked, it's the next. I went ahead and just put like basically a starting rotation together as well as like top 5 bullpen arms. So let's kind of move to that. But not like the worst pitching staff you've ever seen. Paul Skeens obviously leads the way with 20 starts throughout this whole thing at 4.3 WAR. Oviedo with 2.4 WAR. Quintana 2.1. He was traded at the deadline too, so another really good acquisition there. Jared Jones at 1.8. Bailey Falter 1.4. So like Cherington's done a pretty decent job of putting a rotation together. I think we can, and I think we all have said that over the last year or so, that if there's one part of this team that isn't worthless, it's that, and this kind of shows it.
No, I totally agree on that. I really do agree. So again, like we see how bad the offense is, but as far as the pitching, it's been through draft and development, trades and signings. You get a mixture of all those on this list right now. I mean, Skeens hands down, that's a no-brainer. Like Oviedo, let's talk a little bit about that. Like when that trade happened with the St. Louis Cardinals, we were kind of unsure with it. And I think the biggest one was like, I mean, Malcolm Nunez not going to be a hitter, like at best, probably a platoon guy. And we're showing he's probably not even a major leaguer. And Oviedo at the time was like a reliever. And they turn him into a starter. And I know he has Tommy John. And there's like, also with that being said, that was a lost season. Like it could have been more. But the Tommy John, there's some intriguing stuff. Quintana was a nice signing, a rebound. Jared Jones, a draft developed. And Bailey Falter, another one that we kind of poo-pooed on with a trade. And he's up there, and he put a respectable year up there. So not so bad at all from the pitching side.
Well, and if I can add something too, like the Quintana signing in particular, they got Johan Oviedo in that trade. So because you signed Quintana, Quintana has now turned himself into 4.5 WAR between Quintana and Oviedo. So probably if we're talking about free agent signings that Ben Cherington's had over his tenure, like it's hard to argue that Quintana wasn't like his best so far from an outcome standpoint.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
I'd agree with that too, but I think we kind of overblow the pitching depth he's acquired, personally. Because, like, you get Paul Skeens in the first round, and I know we argued about whether they should take him or not, but obviously that one worked out, and he does get credit for that. But Oviedo, like, I still think he's a bullpen arm. I don't think he's coming back in the rotation. Quintana was here for a half year. Jared Jones, I believe in, but we'll see. Bailey Falter, I still think's a pud. And then what? And then what?
I think the telling thing
I'm not hanging my hat on this. Like, it's not good enough.
Oh no,
None of this is good enough.
I don't think anyone here is saying this is good enough. But like, this is the one part I think that doesn't suck.
No, it doesn't suck. Like it's respectable, but it's not like anything. We do talk a lot about the depth they've acquired, and they have. But where are the results? Like, you got Paul Skeens, you have other guys that you see it, but you don't see the results. I don't know. Like, yeah.
I think what's also interesting here, just looking at this, like David Bednar is the best Ben Cherington acquisition in terms of cumulative WAR that he's ever made. So like you're talking like the best player that over your tenure so far is a reliever.
Yeah.
Is a closer who's closing games for a team that's never sniffed 500.
and was also terrible last year.
And was terrible last year. Yeah.
And your second reliever was a guy that's gone. And your fourth one just had his arm blow out. So, super sweet.
But like I get what you're saying here, Tyler. But in the same sense, like you might think Oviedo isn't a bullpen guy. I think there's a lot of talent there, and but I mean he showed like he proved himself when he was in the rotation that he belonged, at least at that point in time. Like Jared Jones, like the thing is too is like these guys that they've drafted and developed are now starting to come up. I think the difference is you see the acquisitions in the field, right, in the lineup, and they're not that great. But also the problem is like there's nothing really coming. You know, like what's in the pipeline to say, oh, okay, well, you know what? I know that looks bad, but hey, don't worry because prospect A is coming up and that position is going to be fine. You don't see that right now. It's not like Tamar's coming up and replacing anyone anytime soon. And there's some question marks on him. The prospects that have come up have like really not done well. That's why you don't even see most of their names up there. But like even with the pitching side, like the pitching looks fine. But then there's also like Bubba Chandler coming up who has a ton of talent. There's Harrington, like Ashcraft. Like there's still guys that are in the pipeline. So it looks good, but it could also potentially get better. In the field, I don't really even see where it gets better. Like Connor Joe is probably going to be the best right fielder on this list for some years still. and it might like the same could be said for Ben Gamble. And honestly, Phillip Evans.
No,
right? Like that's kind of the issue where Bailey Falter could be gone next year because, and again, he had a solid season, but Bubba Chandler takes over.
I completely agree with you. Like fielding wise, it's a nightmare, plain and simple. Yeah. But even if you look at this and you see Johan Oviedo, number 2, Jared Jones is far below him. And we thought Jared Jones had a really good year. And Johan Oviedo had a much better year last year. And we just completely forgot about him. And that's how quick it can go away with pitchers.
It's a good point.
It is.
Like that you can they can just be done.
At the same sense, they also come back. There's a very good possibility that Johan comes back.
But like even looking back at the year Jared Jones had, compared to Oviedo, it wasn't that good. Really, if you look at Jared Jones' year, it wasn't that good. We're just hanging on the hope of it. And I feel like we're that way with number 2 and 3 of this. We're hanging on the hope of Jared Jones and Mitch Keller that they can take that next step forward.
Can we? Okay, can we want to debate and kind of argue this? Jared Jones had a.
But I found these results on search.
See, like Google doesn't even know. Like I can't side with you, Tyler. To say he didn't have a good season, I understand. Like when he came back, it wasn't as good. But like this guy was coming up here and doing stuff that no one has done before. When you're doing
for like
that
2
for
months.
a first half of a season, I don't think you can look back and the entire, output and say like it wasn't that good. I know it was a tale of two halves for him. Like you can make that argument, but I don't think you just dismiss it and say like it really wasn't that good of a season.
I'm not dismissing it. I'm questioning whether he can do it at a high level for an entire season.
And that could be fair, but I don't want to say like, well, 2024 really wasn't that good of a season.
I mean, I think it was fine. Like it was
almost
a good building block.
Being out for like a month and a half.
I think it was a good building block. I have a ton of questions about him.
Okay. That could be fair.
Like I'm not counting on him whatsoever.
I mean, he's
I'm not.
Okay. We agree to disagree on that.
Well, I'm smart. You're not.
At the very least, he's a very talented arm who
he is.
Be a number 5 starter.
Well, no shit.
Okay.
So can Oviedo. So can Bailey
Okay.
Falter. I don't want
Okay.
number 5 starters on my team. I need top of the line rotation guys. I don't know how we got
Okay.
here. My bad. Hand up. This one's on me. I took it down a rabbit hole that we didn't need to get down. Continue, Jim.
So this was the depressing part, right? This is the all Ben Cherington team. You're looking at it right now. Now, let's get to the fun part. Let's get to the what do we want to call the opposite of this? The what do we
The
wanna call this?
normal Sherrington acquisitions.
The all terrible Ben Cherington team. How about that? All terrible Ben Cherington team. All right. So again, you guys haven't seen this list. I don't want you cheating. All right. Don't go looking on Fangraphs. Don't go cheating. If you're in the comments, you can play along too. But let's start with catcher. All right. Worst catcher acquired by Ben Cherington. Who we got?
Michael McHenry.
There you go. Brody
So-
says, let's call this Ben's Beauties.
Ben's Beauties. I like that actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
So like I can't say like I haven't cheated at all because I was looking at this list earlier, right? I don't really remember everyone. Jose Godoy is a good answer, but I know it's not him. Ojimino put in there. But yeah, I'm going with Henry Davis.
Yeah, that's who I would go with.
Okay. It is Michael Perez
Oh, I
at
forgot about him.
-1 WAR. Michael Perez.
Mr. 3 home runs in a game.
He had that one really good game, didn't he?
Yep. And then he
And
went to the Mets and actually had like I feel like he had a decent season with the Mets.
I don't
he
know.
didn't.
No.
Actually, what would Michael Perez's numbers be like if he didn't have that 3 home run game?
Oh, yeah. Without the 3 homer game, it's rough. He had 335 plate appearances. He actually has the 3rd most playing time of any catcher during the Ben Cherington era. It's Jacob Stallings number 1, Jason DeLay number 2, and then Michael Perez number 3. So 37 weighted runs created plus for Michael
They
Perez.
just kept shoving him down our throats too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did. And he was bad. He was real bad. He was actually pretty good defensively, though. He was just that bad offensively.
Yeah, and like I take it back. I felt like he had a lot more playing time with the Mets, but he ended up having 16 plate appearances after they picked him up in 2022, and then in 2023 remained with the Mets for a little bit of time, had 8 plate appearances. So yeah, but he ended up having a .2 WAR with them in total.
Yep.
How many games did he
but-
play with the Pirates?
93.
29.
Jeez.
All right, not my bad. That's his age.
Yeah. Michael Perez had 93 games at catcher.
That's so many.
Bucko Mike says Henry Davis has to be number 2. That is correct. Henry Davis is the 2nd worst at -0.6. So, yeah.
Yeah, but
-1 WAR for Michael Perez.
at least like the Henry Davis one, that you're trying to figure it out. It's the number 1 overall pick. Michael Perez, 93 games is embarrassing.
Yeah, it's bad.
I mean, you can argue Michael Perez was just not good. Like Henry Davis is supposed to be good. That's kind of embarrassing for him.
Yeah, for him, but like as an organization, you're trying to figure it out. Let him work through it. Michael Perez, everybody knows he sucks.
Michael Perez does have the most home runs of Pirates catchers
God, he sucks.
during the Cherington era with 12.
He was so bad.
Boom.
Yeah. All right, we ready for first base? What's our first base guess?
Yoshi.
Worst first baseman.
Yoshi.
But like Yoshi had those really 2 good months. I feel like that helps him out with the worst.
Yoshi.
But I feel like it still might be Yoshi. Now, I don't think Van Meter would have been the worst first because he played kind of all around. I'm going Yoshi, I guess, too.
Chavis is up there as well.
I don't think he is.
He was pretty bad.
All right.
I don't think he was all that bad at first.
I'm going Yoshi though.
I'm going
Yoshi
Yoshi too.
and Yoshi are the answers. Final answer.
Yeah.
Rowdy Tellez
Rowdy.
with
Wow.
negative 0.6 is the worst first baseman acquired by Ben Cherington.
What was
John
Yoshi
Nagowski,
like?
John Nagowski negative 0.4, Michael Chavis negative 0.4, Yoshi negative 0.3.
Mm,
Yeah, that stretch.
yeah.
Yep.
So Rowdy, in the year that you're like, hey, we're gonna push for playoffs. That's your worst first baseman.
Yep.
Cool.
Rowdy was actually tied on the overall list for worst first baseman during the Cherington era with Will Craig.
Well, Craig also Huntington acquisition.
So Craig doesn't count in this.
Right.
All right.
Nice.
Van Meter actually not that far. Like Van Meter had a negative 0.1 WAR as a first baseman. There are
I
10
feel like
players. There are 10 players worse. There are 10 players worse than Josh Van Meter on this list. 10.
I was gonna say I feel like he played kind of all around too, so his negative WAR was spread around.
Yeah, so Van Meter played 18 games at first base. But there were 10 worse first basemen than Josh Van Meter.
He didn't even know where the base was.
Yeah, he didn't even know where it was.
All right.
All right, moving along. Second base. This is a tough one too. Like this is probably the one where it's like it could be anybody because Ben Cherington's acquired 87 second basemen and they've all sucked.
Yeah.
Like this one's if you get this one right, honestly, I'm going to be super surprised.
I'm going Marcano.
You're going Tuke.
I'm not going Tuke. It could be. I mean, let's think about this. Let's think of like
I feel like he got so many negative WAR.
Hoy
everywhere else,
Park,
though.
Yu Chang, Diego
Oh,
Castillo.
There's so many. There's so many bad ones.
And
I'm
they're all
also the
Asian.
Van Meters, the Defos, the.
He acquires every Asian second baseman that stinks.
I'm going Yu Chang.
I'm going Marcano.
I'm going Chang, but it could be Kana. I'm
Could be
going
someone
Chang.
I've never. I can't.
So you're going Chang and Marcano?
Yeah.
Do you want to hear a fun fact? If you take every Pirate second baseman and you rank them by WAR, both Chang and Marcano are in the top half. They're in the top half of second baseman.
Hold on. Who is that bad?
I'm thinking.
You're not going to get this one. You're not going to get it.
Who else sucked at second? Is it Wilmer Defoe? No.
Close. So Wilmer Defoe is second worst.
Really?
Okay.
I didn't think he was that bad.
No, he was terrible.
Well, I know, but like
we just ignored it.
Wilmer Defoe had a 57 weighted runs created plus at second base.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Also, couldn't catch pop-ups.
Couldn't catch pop-ups either.
That was a fun live podcast.
This is actually going to make you like you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it, and it's going to make you. It's almost unbelievable that this is the answer.
I'm just giving up because I want to hear.
I got nothing.
All right. Isaiah Kiner Falefa is the worst second baseman that Ben Cherington has acquired. Not only is the worst second baseman Ben Cherington has acquired, he's been the worst second baseman since 2020 with negative 0.3 WAR.
Well,
the fact that it's only negative 0.3 makes me feel a little better. I was waiting for you to drop like a name and it was like a -1. But also it's sad that like it is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa because we
Yep.
just said he has a 0 WAR at short and it's a -3 at second, and this is the middle infielder of the future for
It's the
2025.
starting
Wow.
shortstop right here, baby.
Well, also IKF got on the list at shortstop on the best category.
No, he didn't. It was Nick Gonzalez.
Did he?
Yep.
Oh, it
Remember, I said he was
was.
at a 0.
Never mind.
But you both said Chang and Marcano. I want to give you the list of names that were worse than those
Okay.
guys. Michael Chavis, Nick York, but Nick York only had played 7 games. Josh Van Meter was worse. Hoy Park was worse. JT Riddle was worse.
Riddle,
I forgot about him.
Alika Williams is worse. G1
Yeah.
Bay is worse. Mark Mathias is worse. Vinny Capra is worse. Wilmer Defoe is worse.
Capra. That's what I was thinking of. I said Kana. Capra was what I was thinking of. But
Yeah.
And then
jeez.
let's just go with who's better. Diego Castillo, Hoy Park.
Diego Castillo, the 6th best second baseman during the Ben
Let's
Cherington
go.
tenure. Yeah.
I mean, my God, Rodolfo Castro.
Castro's up there.
Well, that's
Castro's
up.
tied with Castillo. Yeah.
Also a Huntington guy, though.
I'm just saying, like all the second basemen we've dealt with.
Oh.
Cole Tucker's the 3rd best since
Cole
2020.
Tucker, Kevin Newman.
That's where we're at.
And Nick Gonzalez. There it is.
All right. Third base. What's our guess? The
worst?
third baseman
The
acquired by
worst
Ben
third
Cherington.
baseman.
Like again, it's this situation where like there's not. I mean, Triolo and Hayes have kind of dominated the position. I know Defoe was there. Like Rodolfo Castro, I feel like could be a sneaky one here. Actually,
It's a good choice. How about Piguero?
but I feel like Piguero didn't. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like he.
Piguero has not played third base in the majors.
Okay.
Oh,
For
well,
some
there you
reason, I was thinking he did.
I'll say this: this person has, he's kind of running
think it-
away with it. He's running away with it. 11 games played there, but running away with it. It was a bad 11 games. Let's just say that.
You know what? I'm going to run Tuke back. We're going back to Tuke.
I'm gonna go Defoe.
Okay. JT Riddle
God.
with negative 0.64
Could you let us forget he existed?
in 11
I'm tired
games.
of all the really good options we have for this round.
In 11 games, he hit 147. He had a 20 weighted runs created plus and a
Jordan, you know
negative
what's sad?
0.6 WAR.
Kevin
Like Josh
Pavlo
Van Meter is
was-
not even an option for us.
He was good.
Josh Van Meter is only played 1 game at third base, and
Yes, his
He wasn't
negative
really-
WAR is just too spread around. That's why he's not really going to be on this list. I feel
Oh, dear God.
he was just the terrible, rusty old Swiss Army knife.
Oh, my God. Now we got to do shortstop.
JT Riddle
Shorts-
again.
shortstop's going to be a tough one. Again, acquired by Ben Cherington.
Ugh.
Worst shortstop. This could be anybody too.
Yeah. I'm going Rodolfo Castro on this one because he could not field a lick.
Castro is not a
Well, that's
Cherington
not-
acquisition.
It's Huntington.
No, it's not. Okay.
I mean, it could be Hoy.
Could be Diego. He was okay enough, I guess.
I feel like his time was split between short and second, and like outfield and like I think like he gets like the Van Meter treatment. I feel like that he won't be on this list. A lot of people in the chat are saying Tuke. I don't think it's Tuke
I don't either.
because it's the same situation. Like he was kind of
It's like-
around. Like
Yeah, and he also actually played the position relatively well.
I'm gonna go Hoyt Park
You're on Hoy.
because the defense wasn't there at all.
I'm running
He
it
was
back.
just
Let's
bad.
go Tuke again.
All right. So this is actually a tie. This is a tie. I only wrote one name on the list, but it is a tie at negative 0.7 WAR between Alika Williams
Oh, I kind of forgot.
and
who you just said.
Tucupita Marcano.
All right, I get half a
Both
point.
of them at -0.7.
All right, 2 couldn't pick it there.
Both very
Alika was
like
that bad. I guess
Tucupita Marcano 47 games, Alika Williams 48 games, both -0.7 WAR. Alika Williams has a 26 weighted runs created plus as a shortstop.
God, we're
Can
running
we
off.
talk about that trade once again? Just how awful that was. I hated it then, and I hate it even more now.
You know what, guys?
Ah.
I understand why Tyler can't pick topics because everything I want to talk about is way too depressing. I'm depressed now.
Alika was that bad, just a short. The guy who's like, well, at least his glove will just.
The glove's actually not like he has positive value defensively. It's just the offense is that bad. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
No,
Gosh,
he wasn't
Alika
just for cash.
sucks. Now imagine
They traded
trading
the
Big Bob
reliever
Stevenson
that got
for him.
signed by the Angels to like a 3-year, $37 million deal. And why do I forget his name now? But
Robert Stevenson.
Robert Stevenson.
yeah, Stevenson.
Old Big
Just-
Bob.
you saw the talent he had, and just like that's just a guy like. Why are you trading him for Alika? And here we go.
To the Rays.
I
The one
digress.
team that can fix him.
Right. And they got him paid.
And then, yeah, he got $33 million.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
he
then got hurt.
For Alika Williams. Negative 0.7 WAR short. Fantastic.
All
I
right.
hate my life.
If you were paying attention, I accidentally showed the next one.
Yeah,
but
it's
left
Kai
field.
Tom.
I didn't look. Oh, Tyler.
Yep.
I love
It is Kai Tom. Kai Tom, DiNardo's boy, as Buckle Mike calls him. Kai Tom at -0.7 WAR.
The Ben Cherington edition of Jaff Decker.
What's crazy is this was a tough one. There's 3 guys Cherington has acquired in left field that have a -0.6 WAR or worse. There's 2 at -0.6 and then Kai Tom at -0.7. Both Phillip Evans and Connor Joe at -0.6 in left field.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Kai Tom. Although, like, I don't give too much hate for that, just because like that was super early. You're just picking up guys, whatever. But
I'm depressed.
that was just a start to this terrible rebuild. Like, what is an awful year of baseball that was?
Yeah, that was bad. That was real bad. All right, center field.
Unfortunately, I don't feel like Jim's favorite boy, Anthony Alford, is going to land on this list, but I just want to mention him. But center field. Like, there is Dyson, there's Alford, there's I feel like Bay's not going to be on the list.
This is a tough one. I'll say that. This was also a tie, but I used my judgment and just picked one. But we'll discuss both.
Any input, Tyler?
What are your guesses?
I think Dyson was positive that year.
I don't.
I think he was like 0.1. And I'm kind of leaning Nick Markakis. But I feel like that's wrong.
Wait, what?
Well, that's wrong because Nick Markakis was never a
Or
Pirate.
not him. The other guy.
You might be thinking Jake Marisnik.
Yeah, him. The other one with the M.
Oh, see, I think
Yeah, the other one with the M.
Marisnik got injured, though.
He did. That's why I'm not going there. What is it?
But Dyson, I feel like, was like a -0.2.
He
Like
might
I
have
felt,
been.
but it's still close to 0. Like I feel
He
like
had like a
someone's got to be.
He did have
bad.
like a 30 weighted runs created plus. Marisnik was bad, but he only played like a week in the COVID year.
Right. Who else
All
could
right,
it
let's
be?
get your answers in.
There's
Get your answers in.
Bay.
I'm gonna. Actually, did Hoy Park play center? I feel like Hoy Park played center.
Hoy Park has 4 games at center field.
Those 4 games are probably enough for him. I've been trying to get Hoy Park on this list for the longest. I'm gonna go Hoy Park in his 4 games.
All right. I'm going to go. It's not Dyson.
Yeah, some
know
people are
what?
commenting
I'm
Bay,
just gonna-
and I feel like he's not going to get negative.
I'm going to go Bay. He's been so bad.
But I feel like the metrics will
Keep in
play
mind,
if he
G1
beats
Bay
some
is not a
catches.
Ben Cherington acquisition.
No, he's not good.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Lord, I'm sucking at this.
Yeah, chat, you idiots.
I'm going Marisnik. Screw it.
All right. So it is a tie, but I went with Dustin Fowler at negative
that guy
0.5.
Oh my God.
Forgot
Dustin
all about
Fowler,
him.
negative 0.5. He had a negative 2 weighted runs created plus in 12 games. He was bad. He was real bad. Also, though, tied with Dustin Fowler is Ben Gamel at negative 0.5 as well. Ben Gamel, very poor defensive center fielder with an 8 weighted runs created plus in his 11 games playing center field.
Oh, that's a sneaky one.
Yep. So both of them tied at negative 0.4. A couple people that you were mentioning, Anthony Alford, negative 0.3. Dyson, negative 0.2. I think
You're
some
right.
people mentioned Marisnik. Marisnik, positive 0.1. Hoy Park, positive 0.1.
Oh, well, I was wrong there.
Yep. All right.
Wow.
Now this is this is the granddaddy of them all, right field. Right.
Can I just say it?
I think we all know who it is. And
Brian
it's quite
De La Cruz.
impressive. It's quite impressive that this is it.
Could this is the easiest of both charts, I feel like.
Yeah, I think it was so bad. Let's just go ahead. Let's just get it over with. Yeah, it's Brian De La Cruz. Negative 1 WAR for Brian De La Cruz in his 2 months as a Pittsburgh Pirate. Not only is this impressive, but the Pirates were buyers at last year's trade deadline, and 2 players on this list are people that they bought.
Can I add to that? Remember when Tyler's making the point of like Carlos Santana for the half season and he leads, like how bad it is because he was there for a half season and he leads at first base? Well, technically speaking, it's not a half season because the trade deadline's the end of July. So, you only lose him for August, September. Brian De La Cruz was acquired for a air quotes half season, which was just 2 months. Also, just 2 months of the year that Brian De La Cruz is acquired for. And he is the worst WAR, -1. -1 WAR in 2 months. That is impressive.
Not to mention, Donardo, he didn't even play every day. Because by September, they didn't play him every day. Because he sucked that bad.
Right. So, like, Carlos Santana, as sad as it was, he was on the Pirates for 4 months to get that 1 WAR. Brian De La Cruz was on the Pirates for 2 months and got -1 WAR.
This is also incredible. This is how bad last year went. Alex points out. Edward Olivares also played last year. He was -0.9. So this would have been Olivares at -0.9 if it wasn't for Brian De La Cruz and his -1.
I'm sad.
They were better off keeping Edward Olivares. They would have been a better team.
I'm sad.
All right, let's wrap this.
This is
Anybody want to throw out some
fight.
starting some pitchers who might show up on this list? I got 5 starters and 5 relievers, I think.
Oh gosh. Martin Perez.
Man, this is kind of tough because I don't feel like.
All these guys are negative WAR.
Yeah.
All starters are negative WAR. All relievers negative WAR. The relievers are significantly worse than the starters for the
Right.
most part too.
And again, like I feel like the starters haven't been like terrible.
There's a couple people who could have
Cahill?
appeared as both a terrible starter and a terrible reliever, but I just
You're
picked the
on
one they were
play.
most terrible at.
Yeah. I say Cahill in his like 3 starts he had. You good, Tyler?
I think Tyler's like throwing up. This list is so bad.
Ben Cherington has killed Tyler.
He
Tyler
made him
choked
choke
to
on
death.
air. You all right there, buddy?
I'm sad.
All right, let's just
throw
show
him
it.
up.
Let's just show it.
Yeah, just put him up there.
Oh, I forgot. Yoshi was for DH at negative 0.8.
Tyler Beatty.
Yeah. But yeah, here's the pitchers. So we got Derek
I forgot
Holland.
about Holland.
Derek Holland at negative 0.4 leads the way. Will Crow negative 0.3. Luis Oviedo, who I saw this name and I was like, I don't even remember this guy. Negative 0.2. Tyler Beatty.
Guy.
Tyler, say what?
Luis Oviedo, Rule 5 guy.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, Tyler Beatty, negative 0.2. Jared Eichhoff, negative 0.2. Chase DeYoung would have been on both of these lists, but I just put him on the bullpen list, negative 0.8. Heath Hembry, negative 0.7. Kyle Keller, negative 0.6. Miguel Yajure also would have been on the worst starters list, but I just saved him for the relievers list at negative 0.5. And Sam Howard at negative 0.4. So
Sam
pretty
Howard
bad.
might have been useful.
He was like a
Sam
2-parter, I
Howard
feel
was
like,
useful.
too.
Yeah, Sam
rest
Howard
of
was
them
useful for
sucked.
2020, I think. It was like the end of 2020.
Yeah, I feel like that's what it was.
Oh, but yeah, we missed Susugo. So Yoshi was the worst DH at negative 0.8.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's our show for those who remain.
Sam Howard was Huntington? I could have swore Sam Howard came in the middle of 2020.
Was he?
Hold on. Okay, so Sam Howard might have been actually.
Was that his last move?
Well, that was October 30th, so that would have been before Cherington. I don't think that was a Huntington move. I think that was who's the assistant GM who
Graves.
it was not Graves. I was thinking that was Graves at that time, but okay. So Ethan's correcting me.
Oh, whatever.
Sam Howard should not be on this list. Let's go ahead and replace Sam Howard then with
Literally anybody.
Dylan Peters, negative 0.3.
That works.
Sure.
There you go. Was Rowdy worst reliever? Rowdy actually.
That was actually fine.
Let's take a look here. I think Rowdy's.
Wasn't he a 0 or 0.1?
So Rowdy has a 0 WAR as a reliever. Rowdy Tellez was the 39th best reliever of the Ben Cherington era. out of 60.
They just signed him for the wrong position.
Rowdy Tellez is in the top 2/3 of all relievers to pitch since 2020. Yeah. So Phillip Evans is up there too. Phillip Evans.
See?
Yeah, he's up there too.
Thrill it, baby.
Oh yeah, hold on. My math's a little off. There's been 100 relievers in the Ben Cherington era. Rowdy is the 61st best.
Oh, well. Either way.
There we go.
That
was fun. That was fun. You
I'm
guys.
glad you found that fun.
That was a lot of fun.
So today's Thursday, which means not the last show, but I guess the last NS9 Live of 2024 gets capped with that piece of crap. You're welcome.
Don't blame me.
Whoa, what do you mean? Don't play. You literally. Oh,
Hey.
I want to talk about Ben Cherington. I want to talk about the Ben Cherington era.
Well, when Alex came out with that article, I was just like, we need to do this, but just Ben, guys, because it's going to be the worst. It's going to be
So
the
are you
worst
blaming
list
Alex?
ever. This is all Alex's fault. Yeah.
Okay. If not Jim, then Alex will suffice.
I hate
So-
my life so much.
Chat. How we feel about that? All right, guys. Anything else? Anything you want to add before we get out of here?
I don't think so. Hope everybody had a good Christmas. If you're traveling at all, this last week, be safe.
Yeah. Tyler.
OH.
All right, we're done. All right, everyone. So really appreciate you as always. Go ahead, do the fun stuff. Go ahead, like, subscribe. All you MVPs out there, again, we have the emojis back, the badges, so you can go ahead and join our memberships here on YouTube or, of course, on Patreon as well. But with that said, we're out of here. Bye-bye.
Peace out, Earth Scouts.
See you guys. All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.